Again, and thanks for staying with us as we continue our rolling coverage around the breaking news of a mass shooting that unfolded in Orlando East in Soweto, where we understand several gunmen opened fire at a tavern in Newzroom, leaving 14 people dead. 9 people are in hospital, 3 in a critical condition. We're also hearing news of another mass shooting in a tavern where 4 people have died. For more on this, let's bring in the National Liquors Traders Council's Ntimane, who's going to unpack both developments for us. And what a devastating set of circumstances to be waking up to as of this morning. Let me begin by just gauging from you what you know to have taken place now in a tavern, I understand, in Sweetwaters in Pietermaritzburg.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. And once again, we wake up to a very tragic Sunday with the mass killings in Soweto, where 14 lives were lost. And we wishing speedy recovery to those that are in hospital. But I also had a conversation with the Minister of Police, as well as the National Police Commissioner, General Masimula, who also confirmed that we indeed have an incident in our hands that happened in Pietermaritzburg last night around 8:15, where 4 people were gunned down and 8 injured. But I've also been alerted to another incident on Friday evening around 10:15 in Gauteng, where 2 patrons were also shot and killed. And 4 injured. So this is a very worrying pattern that we are seeing, where our patrons and liquor traders are being targeted, it will seem, and we do not know where to turn to, because as we know that taverns are social spaces where people come to enjoy themselves, to entertain themselves, and now it will seem that our patrons are becoming sitting ducks for people to come and just shoot them.
And of course, the question becomes, how do we prevent that from taking place? If my maths is half decent, 20 people have died this weekend alone at drinking outlets in South Africa. The way forward surely is not to do nothing.
No, definitely. In my engagement with the Minister of Police, he said, look, let's calm our heads. Let us reconvene. Let us come together. Let us find a long-lasting solution that will ensure that we prevent these incidents from happening, because it is really unacceptable that you will have 20 incidents spread across 3 taverns, and for all we know, there might be other incidents that have not yet been reported that took place in taverns. So this is very worrying, and we cannot just sit and not do anything about it. Something definitely needs to be done. If we look at the tavern infrastructure, it's just a tavern owner, maybe with 1 or 2 employees. It does not really provide for there to be a security like in those establishments that are to be found in Ntimane or Gauteng and KZN. So these are, outlets that are found in our neighborhoods, in our townships. So if we have to now consider having a security guard per tavern, that will be obviously something that we'll need to look at, but it will not be feasible given the state of play at taverns in this stage.
Yeah, it might still be a bit too early, but it's still worth asking the question. From your discussions with the police commissioner and various other stakeholders, including the police minister, are they suspecting at this stage that these incidents may be connected?
There wasn't any indication from the conversation that they suspect that these are linked. They obviously are allowing the police officials to do their work in terms of the investigation. And we are the first ones that are actually calling for this investigation to be sped up so that we can understand whether there is a link. We cannot have a situation where 39,000 taverns in the country are now at risk. They are now under siege. These criminals, we know that we are sitting ducks. We know that they can just come in and do whatever they please in our establishments. And this really sends, a chilling message to our patrons who have found solace in enjoying themselves in our outlets. That now it means they have to now think about their lives before coming to our establishments. This really is going to affect how we do our business. It's going to actually chase away the very same patrons that have been supporting us in these difficult times that we had to go through during COVID-19. So we are really worried that the future of taverns is actually at risk.
Let me apologize to our viewers. Our audio connection to you doesn't seem to be the best. I can still make out what you're saying nonetheless. You speak about the impact that this might have on operations in drinking outlets. In fact, because of what happened at Enyobeni exactly 2 weeks ago, there have already been debates about whether or not we should relook the operating hours of these taverns, especially when you consider the fact that a lot of the fatalities do take place either late at night or in the early hours of the morning.
If we look at the 3 incidents that we have, Gauteng, the incident happened around 10:30. In Pietermaritzburg, it happened at about 8:15. So it is really not an issue of the opening or closing hours. It's not really about there being late closing hours that causes this type of incidents from happening. I think we need to address what are the causative factors, what gives rise to these shootings happening in our places, because as we know, taverns and patrons are actually the victims here. They're not the perpetrators of this issue that we're dealing with. Unlike in Enyobeni, we were out on record as saying that the liquor trader stands responsible for what happened. So, but we need to have a deeper conversation, because if we do not do that, we will find ourselves having a much bigger trouble where the future of taverns will be at risk and we'll not have any taverns to speak of going forward.
Yeah. I just want to make sure we get our details right. In the Katlehong incident, do you know exactly where the tavern is where 2 people have died?
Yes, I know where the incident took place. Just maybe allow me to just give you the name. I have it written here. Just bear with me.
Sure, not a problem.
Just want to give you the name.
All right, as you do that, of course, just to recap, we're dealing with essentially 3 incidents of killings that took place at 3 different drinking outlets this weekend alone. In one, there was a mass shooting in Orlando East, in Nomzamo. 14 people were killed there. As you can see on the side of your screen, 4 more fatalities have now been reported at a tavern in Sweetwaters, that's in Pietermaritzburg. And in the 3rd instance, this weekend alone, we understand 2 people have died in Katlehong. And like Ntimane, you're about to tell us where this particular outlet in Katlehong is.
So the outlet is called Mputlane Inn Tavern, and it is licensed, and it's in 195 Guanele South Street in Katlehong. Right. So 2 people murdered there and 4 injured.
Wow, a lot to digest on a Sunday morning, especially in a context where, of course, many people weren't expecting this. As an association, what do you reckon the way forward is going to look like? I mean, I'm sure there must be some kind of conversation you want to have with your members around ways through which they can protect their patrons in a context where, like I already mentioned, it looks like we're dealing with a pattern.
Yes, indeed. I think based on the conversation that we had with the Minister of Police this morning, we just need to, I think, maybe convene and take guidance, because we are just business people who are selling liquor to support our families. We're not experts in these crime prevention methods, so we'll definitely need assistance from the law enforcement officials to get guidance in terms of what is it that needs to do to ensure that we do not encounter similar incidents. I also had a chat with the CEO of Distel this morning, who mentioned that they are willing to look at safety programs for taverns, and I know that SAB is also interested in being part of those conversations. So I'm grateful that liquor manufacturers want to be part of the solution and want to be part of this conversation to ensure that we create safe spaces in taverns.
All right, Like Ntimane, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us, letting us in on what you know so far. Like Ntimane is a convener with the National Liquor Traders Council, speaking to us around various breaking news that we're learning of as of this morning. A total of 20 fatalities this weekend alone in 3 separate incidents of killings in drinking outlets in the country.